Hi, so you have a friend or a family member in Scientology organization who may be on staff, or maybe you have a child in Sea Org, and you want to help them to leave Scientology. What can you do? Well, first of all, if you're thinking about like writing a letter and just put in a bunch of negative information about Scientology or L. Ron Hubbard, forget it. That kind of letter will be never delivered. Especially if your loved one is in C organization. Letters are opened, and if there is anything in the letter that could upset a worker or affect their productivity, the letter will not be delivered. For example, my grandpa died, right? And my grandmother was very sick, nearing death, and I never received any letters from home. My mom said, I wrote you so many times because, grandma didn't want to die without seeing you. I never got any letters, not even one. And there was nothing negative about Scientology. So, when you write, it's better to focus on anything that will not upset them. But even if you write a letter saying, oh, I love you and I miss you, it's still there is a possibility they won't receive them. Like one time, my mom wrote me a letter saying, oh, I love you and I miss you so much. So I got a letter and I read it and I just started crying because I missed her too. And MAA, which is Master at Arms, looked and she said, wow, I didn't know you're going to react like this. If I knew you're going to get so upset, I wouldn't have given it to you. Also important to know, if your friend just a public Scientologist, you can come to his house anytime you want, and you can invite him over to your house. That's allowed. And you can just invite and talk about something that you have in common, just hang out. Of course, he will try to take this as an opportunity to recruit you. And you can use this opportunity as just time to talk. He will probably talk about Scientology and share his success stories. So you can just tell him you're not interested in joining, but you always will be his friend, no matter what. But there is a different situation if your family member of Scientologist who in Sea Org, or if you're a friend of Scientologist who in Sea Org. So if you are a family member of Sea Org member, you can invite him to your house, but you will need to get it approved. But if you are just friend and not really related, you cannot invite him to your house. And I can show you something about it. Give me 1 second. Okay, there is every Sea Org member had to sign it to make sure that they understand this document. Do not visit public non-Scientology member house, have dinner, spend the night, or otherwise socialize at their home or place of residence. This only exception being recovery action as per approved project orders as Captain Rudman Section 2. Likewise, do not invite non-Sea Org members to your berthing and the crew dining room. Crew berthing and dining facilities are authorized for non-Sea Org members, not authorized. Do not go out on liberties. Liberties is like a vacation time with public or non-Sea Org members who are not family, like for example in movies or meals or any other activity. So you can only go with your family members. So if your friend is on staff in the lowest Scientology organization, not in Sea Org, you can invite him to your house or go to his house, as I said before. So let's say a Sea Org member is your son or daughter, and he earned a few days of liberty. What can you do if he's in your house? Well, first, use your good listening skills. Allow them to express themselves. Like in Scientology, staff members and Sea Org members often feel that they can share their thoughts because of their constant surveillance, including cameras and weekly meter checks. So the culture just encourages reporting one another, with children writing reports on their parents and parents reporting their children. So they just believing that they're doing the right thing according to policy. So, but even if you create a safe environment in your home for a private conversation, remember that they may still disclose everything that you said in the security check. You may try to ask questions that encourage critical thinking, but Scientologists have seminars, courses, drills on how to give acceptable answers. So just be patient. Engage in meaningful conversations. Strive to have deeper discussions rather just, sticking to small talks. So your friend or child or daughter will make an attempt to do so-called good weather, good road routine, avoiding things that may make Scientology look bad. I mean, they would avoid discussing with you about the health concerns or worries, depression that they may experience, panic attacks, problems with relationship. They just want to admit it to you that after so many years of training that they still have something like this. Scientologists, they're trained to only acknowledge positive things that they get from others and change the subject when something negative arises. So if you start saying a bunch of stuff about L. Ron Hubbard, negative things, a visit may turn into a mission to handle you, change your mind, re-educate you. He will get into his handling mode that he was drilled for years and replace every single piece of information, what's so-called wrong data, you give him with so-called correct data. So you just don't want to waste your whole day doing it. And he may never even come back to your house again if you keep it up. So try to talk about subjects that is not Scientology related, to remind them that there is still more things out there. Like, for example, if your daughter drop out of art school to join the Sea Org, ask her if she still have time to paint or draw. Just keep in mind that she probably doesn't find that important any longer, but it still may bring back that pleasant memories from the time she enjoyed it. But don't just ask questions like, how come you don't have a cell phone? Because it will force them to lie to you and say something like, cell phone right now is not my priority. I could buy one, but I just decided not to. If you have kids at home, like nephews, cousins of Scientologists, let them be around. Deep inside, I actually found that many not all, but many Scientologists, they want to have families and children deep inside. Just because they're true believers of what they're doing, they think that giving up ever having children is an acceptable sacrifice. So if your son or daughter is not sterilized and still can physically have children, you can say something, oh, you could make a great mom or dad. I mean, I've seen that works, it's actually had some people to leave the org. You can also take some pictures of your child and with other family members, hang them around the house just to make him feel welcome and part of the family. Also, be non-judgmental. So if one day your child or a friend come to you and say, I left the org, is it okay if I stay here? The first thing you want to do is say, I told you so. Don't do it. I personally knew several people who left Scientology and came back because their parents just said, oh, I told you you were in the cult, or you should have listened to me, and things like this. And I've done that myself. I went back to Scientology when my dad said something similar. So the focus should not be on who was wrong. It's all about the present and building a new relationship, moving forward from this point. And the last but not least, give them a sense of purpose. That's really important. Also, Scientologists measure success in statistics and money. Staff members and work members do not receive any monetary rewards. So they just basically very altruistic and find satisfaction and feeling that they're doing something really important. So once they leave Scientology, they lose that purpose. And they must start feeling miserable and depressed working for a business that doesn't make a difference. So encourage them to pursue meaningful work that contributes to the greater good, such as joining environmental organizations or gather signatures for causes they believe in, signing petitions, helping people to better themselves. And it's also important to recognize that former Scientologists can feel guilty about not being productive. So they can just sit on your couch, eat your food, and not feeling bad about not contributing anything back as an exchange. So you can allow them to just help around the house, or babysit, or do whatever, but remind them that they don't have to. You still love them unconditionally.